Dr. Harrison, are you familiar with the tale of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
I am.
That tale sums you up very well, doesn't it?
Not at all.
On the one hand, you can be a kind and considerate man, but on other occasions, a violent and aggressive man.
I'm a kind and considerate man.
So, if I depart this earth rather suddenly, please make sure I get a good post-mortem. Dr. Brenda Page wrote those words in a letter of a death foretold.
Brenda Page convinced a number of people that Dr. Christopher Harrison was an abusive husband. That was all lies.
She said if he killed her, he would do it so that nobody would know.
Why is she lying about that? Do not, ladies and gentlemen, convict on this hodgepodge of gossip, innuendo, and what now would probably be called fake news.
So, ladies and gentlemen, service on a jury is one of the most onerous duties which our state requires of its citizens. The accused is presumed to be innocent. The burden of proving guilt is on the Crown. Trust your own judgment. Your verdict will have consequences for someone. It's a matter for you and for you alone to decide.
An 81-year-old man is to stand trial for allegedly murdering his former wife 44 years ago at a flat in Aberdeen. The body of Brenda Page, who was 32 at the time, was found in her flat in the city's Allen Street in July 1978.
Christopher Harrison denies all the charges against him, claiming he was at home at the time of the alleged crime. The trial before Judge Lord Richardson is expected to last 3 weeks.
The stakes for my client are extraordinarily high. Murder is the most serious crime in this country.
Getting a case like this to court is done as a result of a significant amount of work by many people. But ultimately, there's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. I always keep in mind that there is a family with a loss, and I take that responsibility very seriously. As a prosecutor, I carry the burden of proof, and that's how it should be. But there is no direct evidence which would put Dr. Christopher Harrison in the flat at the time when Brenda met her death.
Or?
There's no doubt this is a difficult case.
His Majesty's Advocate against Christopher Merlin Harnett Harrison. Have a seat.
Mr. McConaughey.
What I appear for the accused along with my learned friends. He pleads not guilty to this indictment. There is a special defence lodged on his behalf of alibi.
Thank you, Mr. McConaughey.
There is no smoking gun in relation to the offence itself. The difficulty for the Crown will be to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Dr. Harrison killed her. And I don't have to prove anything.
Now, members of the jury, the next stage in proceedings is for me to invite the Advocate Depute to begin the Crown case. Good afternoon. Will you take the oath?
Yes.
Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that I will tell the truth,
that I will tell the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
In this case, where decades have passed since the crime, I want to educate the jury as to what had happened here. Bearing in mind the jury know nothing about the case other than the charges, I think it's important that we start off by explaining what was discovered in the flat all those years ago.
Advocate Depute.
Thank you, my lord. On Friday the 14th of July 1978, were you instructed by radio to attend at a location?
We were, yes.
Where was that?
13 Allen Street, Aberdeen.
And what did you find in the bedroom?
There was a body of a female, face up, lying on the bed, and would appear to have met a violent death.
I'm going to ask you to look at photograph number 13. Do you recognise that as the bedroom in which the deceased was found?
Yes.
And there's obvious blood staining there in the photograph, is that correct?
Yes.
The first thing the prosecution has to do is establish murder, and I need to establish the mechanism of death in this case. My lord, the next witness is Dr. Marjorie Turner. I give notice that Dr. Turner is a pathologist who has reviewed some of the evidence in this case. We have to give great thought to just how we do that. We ask a lot of our jurors. We have no knowledge really of their background or their sensitivities or their life experiences. It would be quite inappropriate to just suddenly expose them to quite horrific images of brutal crimes. I will not be showing photographs of the late Brenda Page, but there is a computer-generated model, and I just give notice in case anyone would find that distressing.
Thank you, Advocate Depute.
Now, in broad terms, does this image reasonably reflect the injuries which were recorded?
Yes.
I'll now rotate the image. And we'll look at the top of the scalp. Could you turn to the penultimate page of your report, heading Opinion Conclusions? Could you read that first paragraph for us, please?
This woman had been struck on the face and head at least 20 times by a blunt instrument, which fractured the base of the skull, caused intracranial bleeding, and produced unconsciousness. She died while in a state of coma from the inhalation of blood, which originated from her facial injuries. There was extensive bruising on the back of both hands, with some overlying abrasion and dislocation of the right ring finger, classical of defensive injuries.
Look at the left hand. And here. What do you mean by defensive injuries?
We use that phrase to indicate injuries which are likely to have been sustained as the individual tries to defend themselves. The natural instinct, if you're being attacked, is to raise your hands and your arms in front of yourself to protect your head and neck.
Is that a report you prepared as part of a reinvestigation?
It is.
Ms. McConaughey.
No, thank you, Lord.
In 2015, there was a reinvestigation of this unsolved homicide, and that caused the police to revisit all the witnesses for the purpose of gathering all the evidence that was available.
I'm going to call it a day for today, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
This case has been my life getting this to trial, not just for me, but for the police officers that have been and gone, and for the family of Brenda. It means everything to us. This is some of the archive material, almost 3,500 statements and photographs and the like. It's massive, and it's all been kept for all this time in the hope that one day we get to a trial. There's no doubt that Brenda was extremely bright. You know, in her early 30s, she's, you know, head of the genetics department at Aberdeen University. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Christopher Harrison is well educated also, and so is not, you know, your stereotypical murder accused or even remotely involved with the police. Went on to study zoology at Cambridge University, then went across the United States to teach at Harvard University. He moved back to the UK and went to Glasgow University, and that's when he met Brenda in 1971. They later got married in 1972. So you can see how the two of them got together. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Then after they got divorced, Brenda bought herself a flat in the West End of Aberdeen. Part of the process that we went through when it was declared that it would be reinvestigated was ultimately to read all of these statements. You're talking thousands. And that's what we presented to the Crown.
Have a good day, Dean.
The next witness is Crown Witness number 92, Ian Duncan.
The manpower on that case back then would have been massive, from top down, where every available officer will be working on the case.
In 1978, were you given various tasks to assist with the police inquiry?
I was. I was primarily to take statements from people who had been identified as worthy of interviewing.
Yes. Was one of those persons a man by the name of Thomas Gray?
Yes.
Thomas Gray has since passed away.
Yes.
Could you look, please, at Crown Production 236? Could you read it for us very slowly, please?
She informed us that her husband had hit her several times prior to coming to Aberdeen.
Ms. McConaughey.
When you took a statement from a witness, you would be doing your best to ensure that what you were writing down was what the witness was telling you.
Yes, sir, I'm writing in a hurry. My writing's not the best at times.
Look, please, at a statement of Dr. Marina Seabright.
In May 1978, I attended a conference which was also attended by Dr. Page. She was accompanied by her husband, although at that time they had been divorced for approximately 6 months. I asked why her ex-husband was with her, and she told me that he kept following her.
Ms. McConaughey.
Thank you, Mick.
I met Brenda Page in the lobby, and she mentioned that her house had been broken into the previous day, and she mentioned that she suspected her husband.
Thank you very much.
Read the next part for me, please.
Within a couple of days, her husband had called at her invitation for dinner, and he had brought a bottle of wine.
So, according to this witness, Brenda Page had invited her husband for dinner and that he had brought a bottle of wine.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The Crown are seeking to paint a picture of someone who is a domestic abuser. Dr. Page had her own reasons for wanting to portray Dr. Harrison in that particular way. Although the jury may hear evidence of his abuse from a number of sources, when one actually digs down into that, the evidence is actually one source, and that one source is Dr. Page.
On Friday the 14th of July 1978, were you on duty along with a colleague?
That is correct.
Did you receive an instruction at about 3:30 that afternoon?
Yes, I was instructed by the senior investigating officer to go to the address of the ex-husband of Brenda Page.
Right. Did you know the name?
Harrison, Kit Harrison.
Kit Harrison.
It was established after witnesses had spoken to police officers that there had been allegations made of abuse and assaults by Chris Harrison on his ex-wife. And as a result of that, we were instructed to arrest him and taken to police headquarters for further questioning. We would have probably parked in this area here. The house is just at the end of the road there.
Tell us what happened then.
Knocked on the door, and Mr. Harrison came to the door, and I told him we were there in connection with the death of his ex-wife, Brenda Page.
What was his response to that?
It was very unemotional and offhand. He didn't ask how she had died, where she had died, and it simply said something like, "Oh dear, that's awful."
Did he ask about any of the detail about the circumstances of his wife's death?
Nothing at all. I found that very strange. He showed no emotion at all, and we were ushered into the house, where we then informed him that he was being arrested in connection with her murder.
Mr. Kennedy, when you went to Mile End Place, did you caution him immediately?
I think the first instance was just to introduce ourselves to him and why we were there.
Okay. What did you say to him?
I would have told him that he was being arrested in connection with the murder of his wife, his ex-wife, and he was not obliged to say anything. Anything he did say would be noted and maybe used in evidence.
So the caution that you administered to him, the first part of that caution was he did not require to say anything?
That's correct.
And he then exercised that right to silence?
I suppose yes.
Well, what happened then?
So he was then told he would be taken to the police headquarters for interview. He adamantly denied any involvement in the crime at all, and despite the allegations that had been made against him by friends, colleagues of Brenda Page, we were unable to substantiate those sufficiently to warrant proceedings being conducted against him. He would have been then released without charge.
Looking at the case with hindsight, it seems to me that there was a sufficiency of evidence in those early years. And I do suspect that it's a matter of long-standing regret for the investigating officers that this crime was never solved. But attitudes have changed significantly since 1978 towards domestic abuse by the police and the prosecution services. But I think also there's a societal change and a better understanding, and that will include, of course, members of the jury.
Oh, good day, Pete.
Thank you. We're now at the next witness is Crown Witness number 32, Rita Ling.
This witness is giving evidence by way of a remote link to save them having to travel here to Aberdeen to give evidence in person.
I need to explain the nature of a domestic relationship. A couple might appear very loving and gentle and kind, but behind closed doors, a very different picture, and this is one such case. So I'm going to lead evidence from the sister of Brenda to give some information which I consider will be relevant. Are you Rita Ling?
Yes.
Did you have a sister, Brenda Page?
I did.
Were you close as sisters?
Very.
In the early days of the marriage, did Brenda give you any indication as to how things were in the relationship?
Not at the beginning.
When did you first understand that things had changed?
The first time I knew that he had hurt her was when she came home with a mark on her forehead. I was told that it was caused by a book being thrown at her.
Did you see a scar or mark?
I saw a red mark, yes.
Did Brenda do anything to hide the mark?
Yes, she changed her parting.
Did she ever complain about anything else in relation to her hair?
She did say that it got pulled occasionally.
Who did she say pulled it?
It.
Did she appear happy at all on these occasions?
No.
Did she appear happy with the relationship?
She said it was like walking on eggshells.
All right, thank you.
Cross-examination is probably my favourite part of the trial. I suppose I like the cut and thrust of it. It's the thinking on your feet. It's the opportunity to make a point that could be of great importance in relation to the outcome of the case.
Mr. McConaughey.
I'm quite keen on the first question being something that matters. Now, your sister told you about a number of things that she claimed Dr. Harrison had done to her. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You mentioned one thing that you saw, which was an injury to Brenda's head, a red mark, I think you described it as. And she told you what had caused that, but you never saw that happen.
No.
Am I right in saying that you never saw anything happening to her yourself?
Yes.
Mrs. Ling, I've no further questions for you. Thank you very much.
I couldn't really give much evidence because mine was all hearsay. I was never there when any of this occurred.
She got married in Ipswich, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
She was so happy.
Happy?
So it was a happy day?
Yes. So we thought.
Casting my mind back to when it actually happened. You know, seeing my mother so totally and utterly shocked, and I couldn't do anything, my dad couldn't do anything. You know, it just haunts you.
It should have been a marriage made in heaven, but...
Yeah.
She didn't tell us for a long while.
Of course.
She kept it secret.
Next witness is Crown Witness number 5, Adrian Jessup.
You just hope the people that she worked with saw more than we did.
Did Brenda Page speak to you about her marriage?
Yes, certain amount.
Did she appear happy in her marriage?
I thought she was a bit strained. I didn't think she was particularly happy, but yeah.
Did she tell you about anything occurring in her marriage that made her unhappy?
It was obvious that she was afraid of him. She said that if he killed her, she said he would do it so that nobody would know. That's what she told me.
Mr. McConaughey?
Did you give a statement to the police on the 28th of August 1978?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell the police that she had told you that if Kit killed her, he would do it in a way that nobody would find out?
Not at that time.
Let's look at it. Let's not be unfair about it. I think it has your name on it, is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And you give a description that before she married and after marriage she came to your flat regularly?
Yes.
And she looked after your cats when you were on holiday?
Yes.
Now, is that all correct? Is that all accurate?
Yes.
I last saw Brenda about 1.5 years ago when she stayed at my house for 3 days.
Yes.
Again, was that true?
Yes.
During this visit, Brenda told me the violence had continued on her by Kit.
Yes.
Again, did you say that to the police?
If it's in the statement, yes.
And was it true?
Yes.
But at no point do we see anything from you telling the police about a fear, if you like, that Kit was going to murder her.
I know. I didn't say it in that interview, and my reason was this was something that was not sort of factual. I mean, the hitty, she had told me about the other things, but they had actually happened.
Well, she told you they'd happened.
Yes.
You've no idea whether they happened or not.
Well, that's what I told the police, what I understood had happened.
You were re-interviewed by the police many years later.
Yes.
In 2015.
Yes.
Did you tell them then about what Brenda had said to you?
I seem not to have done.
And the first time you ever say anything about it is in 2020.
Yes.
When you're again interviewed by the police.
Yes.
Now, by that time, the situation was simply, as far as you were concerned, Kit Harrison was responsible. That was your view.
Yes.
And this comment is just a comment you added in, it
No.
never having been said by Brenda Page.
No, you're wrong. She said it. I heard her quite clearly.
Thank you very much.
Prosecuting a case which is of the order of 45 years old presents a number of challenges because not many people will remember what they were doing all those years ago. But in this case, there are letters in the file from Brenda Page to her solicitor at the time when the divorce proceedings were being dealt with.
Thank you.
Those are not just words repeated through a witness's evidence. These are the actual words written by Brenda Page, and that's quite a significant link to her and an important piece of evidence in the case.
So, the deputy.
Thank you, my lord. The next witness is Crown Witness number 9. When Dr. Brenda Page first consulted you, what was it in relation to?
She consulted me initially concerning a house purchase and also a divorce.
Did you ask Dr. Page to set out the things that she said justified the divorce?
I did, and I guess I was in the fortunate position that because of her intelligence, very articulate lady, that she was able to write to me with details rather than me sitting down and taking her statement from her,
Yeah.
which she did at some length.
In today's modern days of emails and text messages, we forget the power of a handwritten letter. When the jury hear her words in court, it will be as if Brenda is speaking at her own trial.
Could you have before you, please, Crown Production number 2? Is there a heading underlined mental torture?
Yes.
Could you read that, please?
Mental torture. Continuous criticism of face, figure, performance at work. Never allowed to look at his vast collection of books in case I wrinkled pages. Was not allowed a television or to listen to any
programs he didn't like. He came into the room, switched it off and went out again. Unreasonable jealousy. He had a dreadful jealousy of any man who I met, accusing affairs which were quite nonsense. If air smelt of smoke after being in a smoky train, I had been to bed with someone who smoked.
And you see a paragraph that is headed aggression underlined.
Yes.
Could you read that for us, please, very slowly?
Aggression.
Constant with threatening, resulting in physical damage on average once every 6 months. Damage needing medical attention. April the 10th, 1973. Admission to casualty with dreadful head pain and vomiting. Overnight stay, Ward 20. On numerous occasions he has told me to leave the house, which resulted in this happening on the 20th of June, when he started tearing up my clothes and promising to kill me if I didn't go.
Concluded there by saying, and promising to kill me if I didn't go, is that right?
Yes.
And I'd like to read the very last paragraph on that letter, please.
So, if I do depart this earth rather suddenly, do please make sure I get a good PM.
Do please make sure I get a good PM and that my sister and her boys get any benefit.
What did you understand PM to mean?
Post-mortem.
What a tragic statement that is. Who at 32 or younger than 32 would write a statement like that in their life?
I can no longer tolerate this behaviour, and if it is still possible to put this interdict, or whatever it is called, on him, it must, and must is underlined, be done.
But what is an interdict?
An interdict is court proceedings to prevent someone from molesting or bothering you.
So the interdict prevented him from contacting her or visiting her, whether she invited it or not?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
McConaughey.
So far as your position as a solicitor is concerned, you're not there to either believe or disbelieve your client, correct?
I'd no reason to disbelieve Dr. Page.
Well, but it's not your job to believe or disbelieve, is it? It's nothing to do with you.
I think that's probably right.
In the early part of 1976, that would be before the Divorce Scotland Act 1976.
Yeah.
And at that time, the grounds for a divorce would be either adultery, cruelty, or desertion.
Yes.
So if one wanted a divorce, you had to fall within that ambit, as it were, one way or another.
That's correct.
And she came to you seeking a divorce, which she said was based upon her husband's cruelty.
Yes.
Dr. Harrison's position is that Dr. Brenda Page, for whatever reason, wanted out of the marriage that she was in and concocted a series of disclosures towards different people where she claimed to have been the victim of domestic abuse, including her solicitors. And the reason for her doing so at that particular time was to be able to secure her divorce from Dr. Harrison.
So, when it comes to this document,
yes,
this is where Dr. Page has said, so if I do depart this earth rather suddenly, please make sure I get a good PM and that my sister or her boys get any benefit. Insofar as this letter is concerned, your response doesn't suggest, for example, you'd better phone the police.
Yes.
But presumably because you didn't think, perhaps, that Dr. Page was being terribly serious in that particular paragraph.
No, I don't think so. I can't recall whether the police was an option. I would be surprised if it wasn't an option.
Yeah. Well, you certainly didn't advise her to do that, at least in the letter.
Not in the letter, but I was meeting with her also.
And
I'm pretty sure that I would have told her what her options were. And clearly, a complaint to the police would have been one of these options.
Not one that it appears was taken up?
No.
After the divorce, was there an offer in terms of settlement between Dr. Harrison and Brenda Page?
The agreement was that she would receive £6,000 in respect of her half share in Myland Place.
And that was done?
That was done.
And
it was paid.
And Dr. Page purchased the flat at Allen Street?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of another day, and I remind you, you should continue to keep an open mind at this stage. I hope you have a pleasant afternoon. Thank you.
Allen Street, it's not really changed much over the years. The outside fabric of the building's just the same. But quite a, middle-class area of Aberdeen. Families with children, a lot of professionals. Nice place to live. Not your stereotypical murder scene, that's for sure. It's probably the last thing anybody expected in Allen Street. Brenda would have moved into this flat, obviously, after separating from Christopher Harrison. She had a good job. She was young, she was living in, a really vibrant city at the time. Aberdeen was establishing itself as the oil capital of Europe. This should have been the start of her new life. But it didn't work out like that for her. Brenda was the bottom floor left, and one of the significant witnesses on Bert, she was the flat above, which was first floor left as you look at it.
Court.
Advocate Depute.
Thank you, my lord. The next witness is Crown Witness number 39, Anne Burt. Dr. Page achieving her divorce and the restraining order ought to have been a complete severance between the two of them, but I will need to show that that was not the case, that in fact Dr. Harrison persisted in his attempts to be with Dr. Page. What did you hear?
Well, I heard noises. I thought it was maybe the dog from upstairs going up the stairs. I'd been in the lobby area of our flat, and I heard voices. It was quite loud, and it was somebody like pleading with Brenda to let him in.
Pleading with Brenda to let him in?
Yes. Let me in, B.
Let me in,
Please,
B.
B.
How long did this go on for?
I think it was about 5 minutes.
It's not just a one request and then go in.
No.
This went on for 5 minutes, is that right?
Yes, and I think she then let him in.
Did you detect any accent at all?
Yes, he spoke with an English, well-educated accent.
Right. After whatever period of time it was, did things go quiet?
Yes.
Yes. Did you hear anything later?
Yes, I heard a thud.
How loud was this?
Well, it was quite loud. Loud enough for me to hear from inside the flat. And I looked out the bedroom window, which was at the front of the building, and saw a tall, thin gentleman, who I now know as being Mr. Harrison, leaving the flat and heading off to the left.
The thud, do you know what caused that?
No.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Burt, did you see Dr. Page in company with a tall, thin man?
Yes, about 2 months before she died. I saw Brenda with a meal in the garden, having a picnic. He wore a bow tie and like a boater type hat.
Did you subsequently come to realise that that man was her former husband?
Yes.
So she was having a picnic with her ex-husband in the garden of 13 Allen Street?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
What I hope the jury will take from that is that it is a practical demonstration of the difference between what Brenda Page will tell people the position is and what she then actually does. Albeit they are divorced, they are still on good terms, and she is contrary to the idea that she doesn't want anything to do with him and requires to get an interdict to keep him away from her house, is actually inviting him to her house, and they are enjoying a pleasant evening together.
Okay.
Thank you, my lord. The next witness is Crown Witness number 13, Sarah McIntyre. I need to explain the nature of an abusive relationship. In this case, there were occasions when Dr. Page appeared, on the surface at least, to be content to be in Dr. Harrison's company. And that, of course, brings a certain inconsistency in the evidence which I will have to address. Are you Sarah McIntyre?
I am.
Did you ever meet with Kit Harrison?
I met Kit Harrison on a number of occasions because he was a friend of my flatmate, Janet Cameron.
Were there occasions when he was perfectly kind and considerate?
Yes, he was a courteous person.
Did you ever meet with him and have a discussion about the relationship?
There was an occasion when he came to my flat where he asked me to phone Brenda because she wouldn't take phone calls from him. I think at that point there was a restraining order. I didn't want to phone her, but he was very persuasive. He said he loved her and he wanted to talk to her.
How was Kit Harrison's demeanour in this situation?
A mixture of distressed about Brenda. He wanted to talk to her, but in a way quite charming and pleasant to me. So I phoned her and she said she would speak to him if I stayed in the room. I stayed in the room for a while and it all sounded quite amicable, but then I heard Kit's voice raised. He had become upset and belligerent and angry. He then slipped out, but we didn't see him go, and he'd phoned to apologise.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Carnegie. Professor McIntyre, from what you knew about the situation in 1977 and in early 1978, would it have been a surprise to you to learn that Dr. Page was having a picnic with Dr. Harrison in the back garden of her home?
It would have been very surprising to me, yes.
And if that had happened, then it would perhaps suggest things had become more cordial rather than less so.
If that had happened and if I'd known about it, yes. I didn't know about it.
Thank you very much. I don't have to prove that Dr. Brenda Page was telling lies. I simply have to persuade the jury to have a doubt about whether or not she is telling the truth, given the lack of, as it were, independent evidence of there being any abuse on Harrison's part.
It's always a challenge in a case like this where you have witnesses seeing Dr. Page and Dr. Harrison together in friendly terms, doing things together, but behind closed doors, domestic abuse was taking place. The next witness is Crown Witness number 4. I will suggest, in addition to the coercive control, Kit Harrison's very jealous of any relationship that Brenda Page would have had with anyone else. When she was living in Allen Street, did you get the impression that she was struggling a bit financially?
I believe that she had taken a mortgage that was very large for her.
Yes.
I think she had asked her husband to produce her the money that she'd been awarded, but he had been aggressive in return, and she said she would never ask for it again.
Did she have additional employment to help her?
She did.
What was that?
She had seen an advertisement in the Press and Journal from an escort agency, and it was asking for people to go to entertain people in the oil industry for dinner at the Treetops Hotel.
Did she ever make any reference to you about Kit Harrison knowing about her association with other men?
Yes.
Do you recall giving a statement to the police in 1978?
Yes.
Do you see there, it's written, he obviously knew that she was keeping company with other male persons because she told me that he referred to it as, quote, her whoring, unquote.
Yes.
Most people say the oil boom is the greatest thing ever to happen to northeast Scotland. Certainly, it's injected new life into industry and business.
What about all the rumours about the expensive escort girls moving up from London?
Yes, they may have moved up from London, and there are rumours of they're coming up for the oil shows, but I'm afraid I haven't seen any of them.
Could you turn to page 4, please? You see there, she was frightened that Kit would follow her, but she never told me whether he did or not.
Yes, she was.
And does that paragraph conclude? She said she was worried that he would kill her. Is that what you said to the police?
Yes.
And was that true?
Yes.
It's difficult to see the obviously clever, respected scientist, as she's been described by all of her colleagues, going out in the evening to entertain oil men. there was a kind of tension between the scientist on the one hand and the escort on the other. There was an oddity about her character. And I think it's important that I attract the jury's attention to that.
Did she tell you that she had been awarded a sum of money in her divorce action?
Yes.
And did she tell you that she had not received that sum of money?
Yes, she did.
So your understanding from what Dr. Brenda Page told you was that she had been awarded a sum of money which she had never received?
Yes.
You said something to the ladies and gentlemen about the fact that she had another job, which I think you described as to entertain people in the oil industry. Did you have any concerns about that job?
Yes.
What were your concerns?
I think I was concerned that it was an escort agency, and I was concerned about what might be required of her after the meal.
Did you think that there might be sexual activity involved in that?
She was a strong woman and denied that that would be the case. It was a very limited advertisement for people to have dinner with people at the treetops, which was a public place.
Indeed. I don't suppose they would necessarily advertise for people to have sex with people in the press and journal, would they?
Quite.
Thank you very much.
There's always a risk when there's a sideline such as escort work that people reach an unfair conclusion on the nature of that work. It certainly did in the media, which was grossly unfair. I felt if her work as an escort was introduced to the case at the very outset, the jury might take an adverse view of it. I wanted just to flush that out and just to try and put it in its proper context so that it's not a distraction for the jury.
Dr. Watt, what was your occupation?
I was a medical cytogeneticist.
You would have a professional relationship with Dr. Page, is that correct?
Yes, but she also, over that 4 years, became a very good friend.
Yes. Did she ever tell you about her association with other men?
I knew about her joining the Escort agency.
Yes.
At the time, I might have joined it myself because I was so pregnant that I didn't think it was a good idea.
I see.
But I did read it in the paper. It did sound very attractive.
Yes.
It wasn't an escort agency in the sense of loose women. It was a professional agency. They wanted intelligent people to be able to talk to professional gentlemen at a dinner. And I think that was the reason she joined it.
Did she have a term for the men that she would meet?
She called them oilies.
Oilies, right. Why was that, do you know?
Well, at that time, Aberdeen was swimming in oil. It was the start of the oil boom, and there were a lot of American oil-related people in Aberdeen.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Watt, you spoke about the oilies and
Yes.
the escort agency. Do you know if Dr. Page ever went on to form liaisons with the people who she met on the escort agency?
Define liaison.
Have sex with them?
No, I don't think she did.
Why do you say that?
I think she would have told me.
Thank you very much.
We know Dr. Brenda Page was in the escort industry. There is the possibility, at least, of there being somebody else who has a grudge against her, somebody who perhaps was unhappy with either the service or lack of service, and could have been the perpetrator of the crime.
Advocate Depute, is Miss Morgan to read the joint minute?
I invite His Lordship to permit that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please will you proceed? Thank you.
The courts encourage parties to agree evidence where there's no dispute about certain facts. Things such as Brenda Page was in the Treetops Hotel on the night of her death.
The following facts are agreed and should be admitted in evidence. On Thursday, 13th July 1978, Capital Escorts received a call from a male seeking to book 2 escorts for later that evening to escort 2 males. Capital Escorts were unable to arrange 2 escorts. Brenda Page agreed to escort the 2 males alone. An arrangement was made for Brenda Page to attend at the Treetops Hotel at 2200 hours. Signed, in respect whereof, Advocate Depute and Counsel for the accused.
Thank you.
The court has been told that Brenda Page had started doing escort work following her separation from her husband to earn some extra money. She met 2 men at a hotel in Aberdeen on the 13th of July 1978, the evening before she was found dead.
Rumours and speculation have no part to play in a criminal trial. And my task is to have the jury focus on the evidence before them, which I say supports the case that I present. The Crown doesn't suggest any other person was responsible, and the Crown certainly doesn't suggest that her work as an escort was in any way relevant to the murder.
The defence do not have to point to another perpetrator, but even if the jury have a reasonable doubt about the matter, that should result in the acquittal of Dr. Harrison. There is nothing which puts him in the house at the time of the murder.
Tell us about the call.
He said he was going to kill her.
We are dealing with a highly intelligent man who will want to tell the jury he did not commit this crime.
If the jury believe him, then they will acquit.
Did you climb into Brenda Page's house?
I did not.
Did you kill her?
No.